I want you to think about your last raise. Maybe it was last year, maybe it was 3 years ago. When you got that notification, that email, that conversation with your boss, you felt it, right? Relief, validation. Finally, now answer this honestly. Where did that money go? Can you point to one thing, one investment, one asset, one piece of your future that exists because of that raise? Or did it just disappear? New rent? New car payment? Better restaurants? Nicer things? And here you are, making 30% more than you did 3 years ago, but somehow feeling exactly the same level of financial stress. Maybe worse. If that just hit you in the chest, you're not alone. 78% of Americans earning over $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't make enough, because every raise gets swallowed by lifestyle inflation before it can build anything real. Today, I'm going to show you the exact formula to break that cycle. Not someday, not when you make more. Starting with your next raise, even if it's just 5%. By the end of this video, you'll have a system that lets you enjoy your success today while guaranteeing you hit financial independence decades earlier. This is about getting off the treadmill. Here's what nobody tells you about making more money. It doesn't make you feel richer. It makes you feel busier, more stressed, more trapped. I call this the promotion paradox. You climb the ladder, get the raise, finally break into that higher income bracket, and somehow you have less breathing room than when you made $40,000. Why? Because your expenses rise exactly as fast as your income, sometimes faster. Let me show you what this looks like. 3 years ago, you made $50,000. You had a studio apartment, took the bus, cooked at home most nights, made your coffee, felt broke, but you survived. Today, you make $70,000, 40% more, but now you have a 1-bedroom in a better neighborhood, $800 more per month, a car payment because you deserve it, $450 per month, delivery apps because you're too busy to cook, $300 per month, a gym membership you use twice a month, $60, subscriptions you forgot about, $80, the nicer coffee shop, $120 per month. That's $1,810 per month in new expenses. $21,720 per year. Your raise after taxes, about $12,000. You're actually going backwards. And here's the really brutal part. You don't even realize it's happening, because each upgrade felt reasonable in the moment. I work hard. I deserve a nicer place. Everyone at my level has a decent car. I don't have time to meal prep anymore. Every single justification made sense. But together, they built a cage. You're making more money than ever. And you're more financially fragile than when you started. That's the paradox. And it's not your fault. It's biology. Your brain is not built for modern wealth. It's built for scarcity. For millions of years, resources were scarce. Food, shelter, safety. You grabbed them when you could because you didn't know when the next opportunity would come. That's still your operating system. When money appears, your brain screams, "Get the thing now." Economists call this hedonic adaptation. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. I call it the upgrade trap. Here's how it works. You get a raise. Dopamine hits. You feel successful. Your brain says, upgrade your life to match your success. So you upgrade. New apartment, new car, new wardrobe, new restaurants. For about 6 weeks, you feel great. Then something weird happens. The new normal becomes normal. The dopamine fades. The excitement disappears. And now you're stuck paying for a lifestyle that no longer makes you happy, but you can't downgrade because that would feel like failure. So you do the only thing that makes sense to your ancient brain. You chase the next raise, the next promotion, the next dopamine hit, and the cycle repeats. This is why people making $300,000 feel just as stressed as people making $60,000. They're running on the same treadmill, just with more expensive shoes. Let me give you a specific example. You've been driving a 10-year-old Honda Civic, paid off, reliable, boring. You get a $20,000 raise. Your brain immediately does this calculation. I make more money now. I should look like I make more money. Successful people drive nice cars. So you walk into a dealership. You trade in the Civic. You walk out with a $45,000 SUV, $520 monthly payment, full coverage insurance, $140 per month, premium gas, $80 more per month. Higher maintenance costs, $50 per month. Total new monthly cost, $790. That's $9,480 per year. Your raise after taxes was about $12,000. 79% of your raise just went to looking more successful. And here's the kicker. In 3 months, you won't even notice the car anymore. It'll just be your car. The excitement will be gone, but the payment will still be there for the next 6 years. This is hedonic adaptation, and it's stealing your future. But here's the shift. Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you can break it. That starts with the 50-50 split rule. Here's the framework that changes everything. When you get a raise, you split it. 50% goes to lifestyle. 50% goes to your future. Not all lifestyle, not all savings. 50-50. This is the balance that prevents burnout and prevents poverty. Let me show you exactly how this works. You get a $10,000 annual raise. After taxes, that's about $7,000. $583 per month. Under the 50-50 rule, $292 per month goes to lifestyle upgrades you actually want. $292 per month goes directly to investments. The lifestyle money is guilt-free. Better groceries, a nicer gym, 1 meal out per week, a hobby you've been putting off, whatever genuinely improves your quality of life. The investment money is automatic. Roth IRA, index funds, 401k stocks, alternative investments, brokerage account, whatever vehicle builds your freedom. Here's why this ratio works. If you save 0% of your raise, you're trapped forever. If you save 100% of your raise, you'll burn out and quit. 50-50 is sustainable. You feel the win today. You build the future tomorrow. Now here's the part most people miss. The 50% you invest compounds. The 50% you spend disappears. Let's run the math. You're 28 years old. You get a raise that nets you an extra $300 per month. Scenario A, you spend all of it. In 30 years, you have nothing. Zero. Scenario B, you invest half of it, $150 per month, at 8% return. In 30 years, you have $224,000 just from that one raise, not from your base salary, from one raise that you handled correctly. Now imagine you do this with every raise for your entire career, every promotion, every cost of living adjustment, every bonus, all split 50-50. You retire a multimillionaire, while your peers who spent every raise are still working because they have to. This is the difference. Not talent, not income, decision architecture. But here's the critical part. You have to automate this before you see the money, because if you see it, you'll spend it. That's next. Willpower is a finite resource. You wake up with a certain amount. Every decision drains it. By the end of the day, you have almost none left. This is why you can resist the donut at breakfast, but can't resist takeout at dinner. Your willpower tank is empty. So if you're relying on willpower to save money at the end of the month, you've already lost. There will never be money left over. There will always be something that needs to be paid for. Always. The only way to beat this is to remove willpower from the equation entirely. You automate the split the day your raise takes effect. Here's exactly how. Step 1. Calculate your new take-home pay. Not gross. Take-home. After taxes, insurance, 401k, whatever comes out automatically. Step 2. Compare it to your old take-home pay. The difference is your net raise. Step 3. Divide that number by 2. Step 4. Set up an automatic transfer the day after payday, from checking to investment account. 50% of your net raise, every single paycheck. Automatic. No thinking, no deciding, no willpower required. Let me give you a concrete example. Old monthly take-home, $4,000. New monthly take-home, $4,500. Net raise, $500, 50%, $250. You set up an automatic transfer. Every payday, $250 moves from checking to your Roth IRA. Before you see it, before you touch it, before you can spend it, it just happens. And here's the beautiful part. After 2 months, you forget it's even happening. Your lifestyle adjusts to the $4,250 you actually see, not the $4,500 you're technically making. The $250 that's building your future becomes invisible, which means it's protected. This is how wealthy people think. They don't rely on discipline. They rely on systems. And the system is simple. Pay your future self first, automatically, every single time, before anyone else gets paid, before rent, before fun, before anything. Future you is the first creditor on the list, non-negotiable. Now let me show you why this matters so much. It's not just about one raise, it's about every raise, compounding over time. Let's say you're 25 years old. You make $50,000. Over your career, you get raises every 2 to 3 years. Average raise, 7%. Some years more, some less. If you spend every raise, here's what happens. By 65, you're making $190,000. Sounds impressive, but you have nothing saved because your lifestyle kept pace with your income the entire time. You're making $190,000 and still living paycheck to paycheck. Now let's run the same scenario with the 50-50 rule. You invest 50% of every raise. Nothing from your base salary, just 50% of the increases. By 65, you're making $140,000, $50,000 less per year than scenario 1. But you have $3.2 million invested. Let me repeat that. By investing just 50% of your raises over 40 years, you retire with over $3 million, while earning less annually than the person who spent everything. How? Compound interest. The money you invested in your 20s had 40 years to grow. The money you invested in your 30s had 30 years. The money you invested in your 40s had 20 years. All of it compounding, growing, working for you while you sleep. And here's where it gets really interesting. At a certain point, your investments are making more money than your raises. Let's say you hit $500,000 invested. An 8% return is $40,000 in 1 year. That's more than most people's entire annual raise. Your money is now working harder than you are. That's the tipping point. That's when you transition from working for money to money working for you. And the only way to hit that tipping point is to start now. Not when you make more, now. With the next raise. Because every year you wait costs you exponentially. If you invest 50% of a $5,000 raise at age 25, it becomes $73,000 by 65. If you wait until age 35, it becomes $34,000. Same raise, same percentage invested, half the result, just because you waited 10 years. Time is the most valuable asset in this equation, not income. Time. And you can't get it back. Now that you understand the 50-50 rule, let's talk about how it fits into your overall financial system. Here's how. Let's say you're currently saving 15% of your base salary. You get a $10,000 raise. After taxes, $7,000 per year. 50% to future, $3,500 per year. That's $292 per month. If your base salary is $60,000, your current savings rate is $9,000 per year. Add the $3,500 from your raise, and now you're saving $12,500 per year. That's 21% of your new total income. You just jumped from 15% to 21% without touching your base lifestyle. Do this with every raise, and within a few years, you're saving 25 to 30% of your income. And that's when you hit escape velocity. At 25 to 30% savings rate, you can retire in 20 to 25 years, not 65, 45 to 50 years old. That's the power of recalibrating with every raise. You're not sacrificing more, you're redirecting growth. Your lifestyle still improves, just not as fast as your investments. And that's the entire game. Lifestyle grows linearly, investments grow exponentially. As long as investments grow faster, you win. Now let's talk about what not to do when you get a raise. Don't tell anyone. Seriously. The moment you get a raise, your first instinct is to broadcast it. New car, new apartment, new wardrobe, new restaurants. You want the world to see that you've made it. This is a trap. When you look successful, 3 things happen. 1. People treat you like you have money to burn. Businesses charge you more. Friends expect you to pick up the tab. Family asks for loans. 2. You feel pressure to maintain the image. Once you upgrade, downgrading feels like failure. So you're locked into expenses you can't afford to prove something to people who don't care. 3. You attract the wrong kind of attention, not opportunities, obligations, people who want something from you. Stealth wealth is the opposite strategy. You keep your lifestyle modest. Same car, same apartment, same clothes, same restaurants. Nobody knows you got a raise, which means nobody expects anything from you. You're free to build wealth quietly, without the social tax, without the status pressure, without the performance. And here's the ironic part. The truly wealthy practice stealth wealth. They drive Hondas. They live in normal neighborhoods. They don't flash. Because they understand that looking rich and being rich are opposite strategies. Looking rich requires spending money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't like. Being rich requires spending less than you make, investing the difference, and letting time do the work. Which do you want? The appearance or the reality? Now let's talk about why your raises matter so much in the early years. There's a specific milestone that changes everything. $100,000 invested. This is the tipping point. Not because it's a lot of money, but because it's the hardest milestone to hit. Why? Because in the beginning, you're doing all the work. You're contributing, saving, sacrificing, and the numbers barely move. You save $5,000. It grows to $5,200. You feel like you're grinding for pennies. But here's what's actually happening. You're building the foundation, the base that everything else compounds on. Once you hit $100,000, the math flips. A 10% market return is $10,000. That's more than most people save in an entire year. Your money is now making money. And the larger the base, the more it makes. At $200,000, a 10% return is $20,000. At $500,000, it's $50,000. At $1 million, it's $100,000. Your investments are earning more than most people's salaries, and you didn't have to work for it. That's passive income. That's freedom. But you can't get there without the first $100,000. And the fastest way to hit $100,000 is to invest 50% of every raise starting now. Not when you make more. Now. Because time is the multiplier, and you're burning it every day you wait. Okay, here's your step-by-step system for every salary increase. This is the workflow you follow every single time. Save this. Use it. Step 1. Calculate your new take-home pay. Not gross. Take home. Open your paycheck. Look at the net amount after all deductions. That's your real raise. Step 2. Identify the difference. Subtract your old take-home from your new take-home. That's your net monthly increase. Write it down. Step 3. Apply the 50-50 split. Divide your net increase by 2. 50% to lifestyle. 50% to future. Step 4. Automate the investment half. Set up an automatic transfer, day after payday. From checking to investment account. Roth IRA, brokerage, 401k, alternative investments. Whatever vehicle you're using. Step 5. Allocate the lifestyle half intentionally. Don't just let it disappear. Decide where it goes. Better groceries, a hobby, a gym membership, whatever genuinely improves your life, not random spending. Intentional upgrades. Step 6. Update your budget. Recalculate your 15-65-20 percentages. Make sure essentials stay below 65%. Make sure savings hit at least 15%, ideally higher. Step 7. Audit and cut. Every raise is an opportunity to cut something that's no longer serving you. Cancel 3 subscriptions you don't use. Renegotiate your insurance. Switch to a cheaper phone plan. Use the raise to optimize, not just expand. Step 8. Don't tell anyone. Seriously? Stealth wealth. Keep your raise quiet. Let your investments grow in silence. That's the workflow. 9 steps. Every raise. For your entire career. Follow it and you'll retire a millionaire. Ignore it and you'll work until you can't. Your choice. Here's where we are. You now have the complete system. The 50-50 rule, the automation strategy, the math that proves it works. The workflow to implement it, but none of it matters if you don't start. And here's the brutal truth. Your next raise is coming. Maybe this year, maybe next. When it does, you have 2 options. Option 1, spend it all. Upgrade your life, feel successful for 6 weeks, then return to the same financial stress, just with nicer stuff. Option 2, split it. Automate half to your future. Enjoy half today, and watch your net worth grow every single year. The difference between these 2 paths is not income, it's decision architecture. And the decision starts now, not when you get the raise. Now. Because if you don't have the system built before the money arrives, you'll spend it before you can think. So here's what you're going to do in the next 24 hours. 1. Open your investment account if you don't have one. Roth, IRA, brokerage, whatever. Just open it. 2. Calculate what 50% of your next expected raise would be. Even if it's hypothetical, write it down. 3. Decide where that money will go. Index fund, target date fund, total market fund. Pick one. 4. Set a reminder to automate the transfer the day your next raise takes effect. Future, you will thank you. This is not about sacrifice. This is about leverage. You're leveraging every raise to buy back time, to build options, to create a life where you work because you want to, not because you have to. That's freedom, and it starts with the next raise. Handle it correctly, and you're on the path. Handle it wrong, and you're on the treadmill. Forever. Your choice. Make it count.